Absolutely.
Hopefully you love that album.
Oh, man.
I actually have.
You actually like a collector.
Woo! All right, everybody. This is my one here at Dash Radio with hometown kid, one of LA's fucking finest, a soldier in the city, RMean.
Yeah,
how you doing, man?
Thank you for having me, bro.
Yeah, of course.
Happy to be here.
Let me see if I got it right. Berevzev?
Barevzez.
Berevzev. Okay.
Close enough.
Close enough. I tried. Google Translate doesn't make it easy to learn another language because it's like a robot saying it back to you with like an English accent.
Oh, that's how Google Translate said it?
Yeah, it was like Berevzev.
Barevzez, yeah.
Berevzev,
close enough, bro.
Man, so good to have you here, bro.
Thanks for having me.
I'm a young Middle Eastern man, and you were always one of the people I saw in the industry.
Right.
And I'd always be like, someone's holding it down. Thank
My
God.
man. That means a lot, bro. Thank you.
You and Khaled were the first two that I really noticed.
Really?
Because you guys, you wear it on your sleeve, which I really love, man.
Yeah, I feel like that's a hip hop thing to do, honestly, to rep where you from. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I always say, like, hip hop came, like, it started as the voice of the people, the voice of the oppressed. So I always felt like, you know, I kind of got to be the voice of my people, or at least tell the story of my people. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And you've done a great job with that. From early on, from 7 Deadly Sins to on Mean Mondays to Yalla Habibi, we can't escape that you you let us know about what most people weren't aware of, like the genocide and
right. Yeah, I feel like when I started, you're right, it wasn't too many, but obviously French, Khaled, they really Belly, you know what I'm saying? There's a few now that's, you know what I mean, Gashi. There's a few people that look like us in hip hop now, you know what I'm saying? But it wasn't always like that, you know what I mean? But yeah, it's a beautiful thing, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a real hip hop kid, just grew up as like a real hardcore hip hop fan. And, you know, one day I just decided to do it myself. Everyone thought I was crazy. I mean, some people still think I'm crazy.
Let me tell you why I think you're crazy. This is why I think you're crazy. For anyone who doesn't know this, for anyone who's gonna watch this interview and you're a big fan of RMean, or you're just getting to know him, and I hope that you don't care that I bring this up. This motherfucker has a pharmacy degree from
of course not.
UCLA.
Well, undergrad was UCLA.
Whatever,
UCLA,
dog. You're still a Bruin.
For sure, I'm a Bruin, because UCLA didn't have a pharmacy school, but then I went to Loma Linda University for pharmacy.
Bro, that's fucking amazing.
That's some Middle Eastern shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, honestly, that's how we raised.
Yeah.
My pops passed when I was 1, but my mom always
You said 1?
Yeah, I was only 1. My brother was 3.
Rest in peace, man.
Yeah, for sure. So but my mom just drilled that in our heads growing up. You know what I mean? Like some typical immigrant shit, to be honest. You know what I mean?
With me. I got my bachelor's. I haven't used it once.
I'm sure.
I graduated from UCI and went straight into interning in music.
Right. Which is fire.
Yeah. So.
And I was doing music this whole time, obviously. But, I grew up in Amsterdam. I was born here in LA. I grew up in Amsterdam, and I kind of started doing music, the final years of my high school. And then I always thought of I want to live in LA eventually. Yeah. So it was only right. I'm like, I got to move to LA to pursue this music thing. And I kind of used college as a tool. I'm like, I'll enroll in college and see how this music thing goes. You're young. I don't really understood anything about the music industry. I'm thinking Dr. Dre gonna call me within a year or 2.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's gonna be lit, you know what I'm saying? And so next thing I graduated UCLA, and that's when I kind of started putting out music and getting a little buzz locally.
But how did you get into UCLA from Amsterdam?
No, I did a community college, Glendale Community College first.
Of course it would be in Glendale. I was wondering how long we would get into this interview without Glendale coming up.
Of course, man.
I almost
Shout out
said
Glendale.
something to Glendale, but I'm like, that's the most racist shit I can say. No, but okay, so you came out here with the intention of if I go to school, I'm gonna be able to live in LA.
Exactly.
And
while I'm doing music, and honestly, I just didn't have any guidance. You know what I'm saying? We come from a community where no one's ever done this.
We don't have people in the industry in our family.
Zero, literally zero.
I'm the first person in my whole extended family that's ever worked in music.
Yeah,
Same with you, I'm sure.
Same with me. So, yeah, it was just kind of us meaning me and a couple homies or whatever, just figuring it out. You know what I mean? And obviously, looking back, you're like, well, if I didn't go to school, probably I would have been here music-wise way sooner. But then again, this has been my journey, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And also hip-hop has evolved, like you just said. There wasn't no one that looked like us. Now it's way more accepting. And it's just different now. So yeah. here we are.
Well, what's crazy about what I was gonna say while you're crazy, I looked it up, dog. The average salary of a pharmacist is like $150K a year. You took a fat risk going into music.
I did, bro. I actually worked as a pharmacist for a couple years, and then I was just like, yo, this ain't it, bro. It was the first time I ever was making money. Right? So like, yeah, 100 to 150K is
but
like
you weren't happy,
amazing, right? Coming out of college and coming out of a place where you know what I mean? Like I never had that kind of money, but after like the first few paychecks, you know, you kind of get used to that. And then it's like, yeah, but like I'm stuck in this fucking CVS or Rite Aid all day long, and like this just ain't it. And all I'm thinking of is like, when can I leave so I can hit the studio? When can I leave? You know what I mean? I'm jotting down rhymes on my phone while I'm checking. It just wasn't it, you know what I mean? And I'm like, and that's also when I, you know, matured and realized, bro, you can't half-ass something and think you're gonna
make it.
And,
especially,
you know what I mean?
Not this shit.
Exactly. You can't be great at anything while you're trying to do something else full time. You know, everyone had jobs and ways to pay their bills or whatever until they, you know what I mean, until they get it to a certain level. But yeah, I was at a point where I'm like, nah, I just gotta make that move.
Man, ballsy move, dog.
You know what I'm saying?
And a lot of people.
And honestly, that's when all the doors started opening. That's when everything started like going, because you wake up with a mind state of like, you have to get it somehow. And plus, like, that's what you do. Like, I gotta be an artist full time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Man, what an incredible, like, you are like to get into UCLA is a fucking challenge. Let alone to get into hip hop. Let alone to have records with Joe Budden, with Game, with King. Man, we can go all day with as far as your like features. King Los, right? If I'm correct. King, you did a record.
Yeah, you know, back in the day,
French.
I came in as a real spitter. You know what I'm saying? And I was working. You know, I did joints with all the people you just meant. King Los, Crooked, Joe Budden. Like, I got some shit with Joel Ortiz and Terminology out there. 2017, I was on a Wu-Tang album, which was fucking crazy with Meth. That's what my heart is at, obviously.
Wu-Tang album?
It's called The Saga Continues. Wow. So it's obviously one, you know, it's the most recent one.
Wu-Tang, yeah.
But yeah, you know, me being a super hip hop head, that was like, it was just in a bucket list thing for me.
100%,
you know what I'm saying? But then, you know, I linked up with Scott Storch last like couple years, and I feel like I just became such a better like songwriter, and like I make records now. You know, I was always a good MC. I would rap like my ass off, and I still do that, but I feel like, you know, it's all coming together now.
Wow.
You know? I had joints back in the days too, don't get me wrong. I feel like I had a lot of good music, great music out there, but it's a whole nother level now for sure.
Well, you just gave me a perfect segue into a part of my interviews where I give every artist an album from my CD collection. I knew what artist you were gonna get when I woke up this morning just from all my research. And then I dug really deep, and I think I found the right album. And the way you just brought up, you know, being a lyricist, but then finding your ways with songs.
Right.
I wanted to give you the Nas. It was
written. Oh my God.
That is yours to keep.
It's one of my favorite albums of all time.
Yeah. And
Nas, my favorite rapper of all time.
And that's really when Nas started making songs.
Oh, you're very right.
Yeah.
This is when he went from the classic Illmatic to being a superstar.
Yeah, because you had, if I'm correct, If I Ruled the World's on there.
Of course.
You started seeing like real songs from Nas.
If I Ruled the World was the main single. Street Dreams.
Street Dreams was crazy.
And then he still had the I Gave You Power, Taken in Blood, you know, all the hip hop.
Yeah. You're like a real deal Nas fan. What's so fucking dope is you got a record in with Nas.
Yeah, man.
It's coming, right?
It's coming, bro. You know, it's one of those things, usually you don't announce it this early when the song's not out. But when that shit happened, first of all, the story is crazy.
Please share. Yeah.
In 2016, damn, it's already 6 years. It was one of the worst years, just career-wise. You know, things wasn't moving, and so I just did this mixtape. I figured like I'm gonna grab like famous beats from my two biggest influences, and I just called the mixtape Nas and M. And I was just rapping over their beats. It was just a mix. You know, me coming up as MC, I feel like they were probably my two biggest influence if I had to choose, you know what I'm saying? And then the last song, which was actually the last song I did on it, was called Letter to the King, which is like an actual tribute, you know what I'm saying?
So Nas, right?
First verse, I'm talking to Nas. Second verse, I'm talking to M.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah, and that actually got a lot of love. Like when I put it out, it got a lot of crazy feedback. All the blogs posted it, you know, Two Dope Boys called it incredible, this, that. We went out, shot a little video for it, just me and my mans. We went to like Queensbridge projects, then we went to Detroit. You know what I mean? Found out
you
M's
went
hood.
to 8 Mile and shot
Yep.
there, right?
Well, it wasn't actually 8 Miles. Literally, we found out what M's hood was. You know the Marshall Mathers LP, that house that like broken down. We found out where that was.
Oh shit.
And yeah, he ain't grow up in it. That was like a hood. Like we got run up on. Like it was a whole thing, bro. But we got that footage and we put it out, and that was that. And then more than 3 years later, so right before the pandemic, like end of 2019, basically Nas hears that, and I get a FaceTime out of nowhere.
No.
And I pick up and it's Nas. You feel me? And for me, like again, like I've been around a lot of people, you know what I mean? I work with a bunch of people, like, but Nas is just different to this day. So first words was like, oh shit. That's the first thing I said. I just fully didn't expect that, right?
I'm surprised you answered. I don't pick up random FaceTimes.
Yeah, I didn't tell all the details. So he ran into someone I know, and like they played him the song, and like then so the call was from my man's phone. You know what I'm saying?
Got it. Okay.
So I pick up.
But you didn't expect to see Nasir.
Right. I think my man Alex is calling me. You know what I mean? Shout out my brother Alex from Cookies. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, and he's like, "Yo, I just heard that song, bro." And in that moment, I didn't even realize what he's talking about because that shit's like 3 years old. Yeah. You know what I mean? I had just started working with Scott Storch. I'm thinking maybe he heard some of the new shit. I don't know what I was thinking that moment. I'm like, what song? And he's like, the one you did for me and M. And I'm like, oh shit, I'm so happy you finally heard it. And he's like, nah, that shit did something to me right now. And he's pointing at his chest, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, wow. So, you know, we had a short conversation. Like, you know, I'm working on this project with Scott Storch, this and that. But 3 days later, he came to the studio.
He came out to your studio?
He came to Scott Storch's house, like the studio we was working at. And we did the whole shit together. Like me, Scott, him.
So you got a joint produced by Scott Storch with Nas on it.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I ain't gonna lie. Like, not only I always say it's the happiest day of my life because my actual dream came true, but it's also my actual, like, the song is so amazing that it's like the song that I always wanted to make. And don't get me, like, you know, when you work with someone, it's not necessarily always gonna be an amazing song, right? Like, and usually when you get a feature, like you already did this song and you know it's fire, and then you're like, well, let me get so-and-so on it, you know what I'm saying? But I didn't have a song ready for Nas. It was fully unexpected, so we made everything from scratch. Wow. And I didn't even have a beat because the way Scott Storch works is he makes everything on the spot, like custom. So every session always starts with a conversation, like, all right, what are we doing today? You know what I mean? What kind of record you want to do? Boom, boom. So I went to the studio like a couple hours before Nas was supposed to get there just to work on the beat with Scott. But Scott was so excited also, you know what I mean? Even though he's worked with everybody, you know, this is still Nas coming to his house. And he was like, yo, I don't know how you pulled this off, he's telling me, but like, you got Nas coming, bro? He's like, you know how many people I know try to get features from Nas with mad money, you know what I mean? Like 6 figures and shit. And he says no, you know what I mean? And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, you tell me about it. But yeah, he fucking murdered the beat. And once the beat was there, I knew it was gonna be fire. You know what I mean? Like once he had the right beat, I'm like, this is exactly what I wanted.
You know what I think's crazy, dog? I'm a hip hop head. I might be wrong. I don't think I've heard Nas on a Scott Storch beat before.
I actually asked Scott, and he's like, I guess they worked before, but I don't think it ever came out. Okay. So no, you're right.
This will be the first time.
I think this will be the first time.
Wow. Wow, man. RMean, man.
It's coming soon, you know. The joint we just dropped with French is kind of like the first joint of this
Yalla
project
Habibi?
that I'm dropping. Yeah. So, and that just dropped a few weeks ago, so I'm building up to the Nas one, but it's gonna come sooner than later, for sure.
That's exciting, man. I had to ask, you know, because
I'm kind of excited you gave me this. I mean, I have it, but I still want another copy. I got the vinyl.
You have the disc too?
I got the CD somewhere.
Okay, well now you got 2 of them.
Hell yeah.
So let's talk about the single, Yalla Habibi.
Yes, sir.
Have you gotten, you know, I'm from Afghanistan, and I remember when French did a record. Anytime French has dabbled into the Middle Eastern music scene, the Middle Easterns give him flack. God, if I know why, like he's not trying to help us out, you know? But have you gotten flack from the Middle Easterns yet?
Not really, bro. Like, I mean, here and there's always a comment, you know what I'm saying? But the thing is, like, people are never satisfied, you know what I'm saying? Like,
that's true.
Like, what do you guys, I don't know what he does or doesn't do for it, so I don't want to speak for him, but speaking from my own experiences, sometimes it's like I don't know what else can I do, you know what I mean? Like, you give back as much as you can, you represent as much as you can. You are artist, you living your life at the end of the day, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
we're just a weird community us Middle
I
Eastern,
think every community has that a little bit, but yeah, for sure. I see what you're saying though.
Yeah,
you know?
I could see that.
But the way we did this song is like, I'm not Arabic or anything, I'm Armenian, but I feel like Yalla Habibi is like a term a lot of Middle Easterns either use or are very familiar with. Like we use Yalla all the time.
Yeah,
like, Yalla, let's move, bro. Like, you know what I mean? And then Habibis is a term of endearment, you know what I'm saying? Which you could say, obviously but for the people that might not know, like, you could say it to a guy, you could say it to a girl, and the whole thing really just means like, let's go, baby, let's go get it. You know what I'm saying? And every time we have like a wedding or a family gathering or whatever it is, for us, it's always Armenian music, there's Persian music, and then there's Arabic music, you know what I'm saying? And there's always one or two songs called Yalla Habibi. Cause you know what I mean? So one day I was just like, bro, I need to make like a hip hop banger, cause that hasn't been done yet, and call it Yalla Habibi. Cause I always like to give a piece of the culture, you know what I mean, with what I do. So
always.
And that was, I didn't know French or anything. This was pretty early on when I started working with Scott. So I started writing the song, actually recorded my vocals to like a scratch beat with a demo hook and everything. Took it to Scott, took my vocals to Scott and had him basically build the beat around my vocals. You know what I'm saying? On some custom shit. And then I was like, I'm gonna try to get French on this, you know what I mean? And Scott was like, yo, you get French on this, it's a rap. So, one of the homies, whatever, I have a strong team, so we made that happen, you know what I mean? We reached out and made it happen. And he took that, I had a demo hook on there, but he fully changed it, but it was Yalla Habibi. I just planted that seed and he just took it to another level. And made it a smash,
It is a smash. Like that's gonna play at weddings for sure.
For sure,
you
bro.
gave us Middle Easterns an anthem for years to come.
Hell yeah, that was kind of the goal, bro. Like the goal was two things: one, to give the Middle Easterns, to feed our community, and then also to kind of bring that to the hip hop world. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's been going crazy out here in LA for sure, because obviously we out here, but it's in the clubs every night, bro. Like people sending me videos every day, even when I'm not there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like the DJs has really been supporting it. The radio's been slowly picking it up. You know what I mean? Power 106
record,
and stuff.
Man.
Like, yeah, man, it's been doing really good.
Record. Well, you're one of those cats that, like, I think I've said this to a handful of artists, that there's certain people I meet, or just from when I read about you, that I think whatever you wanted to accomplish, RMean, you were gonna get done.
My man.
Like if you wanted to be a
you.
country singer, you'd fucking have a guitar right now. Fucking hat on.
You feel me?
And like, you wanted to get done with school, and you becoming a pharmacy isn't easy. For anyone who realizes why I brought that up, is to show like your journey, like hard work.
No, absolutely. Yeah, that's definitely been a thing of mine, like that relentless, like not giving up and like
trying out shit like Mean Mondays. That was unique.
That was
dropped a joint every Monday, hooked up with Charisma, and put the albums out,
Exactly. Yeah, that was kind of this new streaming era. Now it's almost like everyone knows you're supposed to drop music consistently, whether it's every week or every month or every 2 weeks. That's the way to do it. That's just the only way to like break through the noise. You know what I'm saying? There's so much music out. I did that in 2017 where it was a little bit more new. I realized like I got to do something different because this ain't working. I'm working on a project for like 6 months to a year, and then you put it out and it's done within a week or two. You know what I mean? And so I just started doing that. Even that, the way we executed it could have been done better now in hindsight, because I didn't fully understand Spotify and how everything worked. You know what I mean? It was more of a SoundCloud move that I did, but it opened a lot of doors for me, bro.
Oh,
actually, the people that I met, my business partners now, that led me to meeting Scott Storch and working with him. All of that was through. It started with Me Mondays. You know what I'm saying? Be Real hit me up. Be Real opened a lot of doors for me. You know what I mean? He's like, yo, he hit.
Real. Like
he hit me
Cypress Hill, Be Real?
Yup, he hit me when like I had already met him a couple times, randomly too, at a radio station where he was the guest, and I would just happen to be in the building. And the DJs, they knew I was a spitter. They're like, yo, you want to just get on and freestyle? So I sat down like right next to Be Real, and they threw on a beat, and I went crazy. And then since then, he always remembered me. So every time I saw him, he was like, yo, you the kid from Soul Assassins Radio, right? You crazy bars, this, that. I'm like, yeah. So then when I started doing the Mean Mondays thing, he actually hit me like, yo, I see you working. Like, you know what I mean? Because I was, when you put out shit all the time, it travels, it's on the blogs, it's on the people's social media. And then he invited me to, he has his channel, Be Real TV. It's like a hip hop cannabis kind of channel. So he's like, you dropping a song every Monday, might as well come and be a guest every Monday and do like a little performance, freestyle, whatever you want to do with that segment. So it became like a Mean Monday segment on Be Real TV.
Hey.
But then, you know, I'm there every Monday because that shit was live. So we build a relationship with him and with everybody. So everything always leads to something else.
Like as you mentioned, have
You know
you
what I'm saying?
not gone to school? One argument is like I would have been 2-3 years ahead in the game.
Right.
But everything you did was meant to be. Like it was written, like Nas said. Like
It
your
was
story
written,
was
bro.
written and
It's
you're
facts.
just going through it.
Nah, and I really believe that too, for sure.
Well,
For sure.
one thing, man, that you write everywhere, and I just want to applaud you for this. I know this would be like a 3-hour piece if we were to talk about, the Armenian genocide. But I really want to applaud you for when I Google search you, I cannot escape 1915.
Yeah.
Right. When I just look up RMean, and that's huge, man. That's real impactful. Like for years to come, you're gonna inspire other Armenians, Middle Easterns to be able to jump into this lane.
Yeah.
And you're gonna remind everybody. And even me, I didn't, I've been educated on the Armenian genocide, but I didn't know about the relevance of 1915, and I looked it up. Right. So even then, in that moment, it got me back.
For sure.
That's huge, man. I wanted to.
I appreciate you, bro. No, I appreciate that. I feel like, first of all, like I said, I always wanted to tell the story of my people, and coming in is like kind of the first from my background that's been doing it at this level. And that's like a big part of our story, you know what I mean? Like every Armenian growing up heard about, what happened with the Armenian genocide, which happened in 1915. And the reason we say our wounds are still open, you know what I mean? I did the song called Open Wounds, and the t-shirts that say our wounds are still open is because basically modern day Turkey, who committed the genocide and massacred 1.5 million Armenians, they just got away with it, you know what I mean? They were never held accountable. So, for literally a century, we've been fighting for recognition, you know what I'm saying? And that's why it's still like an open wound. No one ever came, all these world powers, no one ever came to like hold anybody accountable. So that's just, there was protests every year in April. That happens to be April now too, you know what I mean? It coming up April 24th. If you're in LA, you remembered, before COVID, the streets are always, in Hollywood, and like the streets are fucking blocked.
You'll see it everywhere.
You know what I'm saying? So one day I was just like, I need to do a song about it. Really, it's about crimes against humanity at the end of the day, but I tell the piece of my story. And then we created these t-shirts with it, you know what I mean? You can educate. I learned so much through hip hop, or just through music, or through movies, or through art, you know what I mean? Probably more than you learn in school, like history and shit like that. So it's a powerful tool to use and talk about. And I always loved hip hop with a message and substance, you know what I'm saying? So I just organically, really, we just did the song, and then we're like, okay, it's really, gaining traction. And then I was wearing this one t-shirt in the video, and it was just a dope shirt that said, "Our wounds are still open, 1915. And people started hitting us like, yo, how can we get that shirt? And slowly that t-shirt became like a phenomenon in our community.
Yeah, you sold thousands of that shit.
It became bigger than me for sure, and bigger than the song, and just became a tool, because every time I was wearing it, every single time someone would stop me and say, what does that mean? You know what I'm saying? Because it's like an eye-catchy, it's just like a dope shirt with a powerful message, you know what I'm saying? And then just became a tool to like educate people and raise awareness.
And it still works. Even me just Googling RMean and looking for a picture of you, like 1915.
Yeah.
At first, my dumb ass thought, and I don't mean to be insensitive, it was like a hip hop thing, like 1017.
Right.
Something like that. So then I immediately, I was like, Armenian, and when you type in 19,
it comes up already.
So anyway, I had to applaud you, because you have held it down for your people. I'm not, I'm from Afghanistan, but I still feel like we're very close. I'm sure we eat the same stuff.
We probably have a lot in common, our people. You know what I'm saying?
So you have held it down, man, for a long time. But I want to get back into your upcoming project. You keep mentioning Scott Storch.
Yeah.
Is he producing the whole thing, top to bottom?
Yeah, so I basically have probably like 2 projects worth of music with Scott Storch. I'm still kind of figuring out what goes on which, because I'm gonna roll it out, at least in the beginning, as a few singles. I got some huge features as well. Obviously, 2 of them we already talked about, French and Nas. So I'm gonna kind of fill out the momentum and then see when, you know what I mean, when like which songs are gonna make it. So I have like my in-house producers that I have joints with too. I might mix it up, I might not. Honestly, I always say it's gonna be mostly produced by Scott Storch for real, for sure. But I have some like gems that are not Scott Storch that I feel like might complete the project. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So for argument's sake, it's definitely all produced by Scott Storch, but here and there's gonna be a beat that's not Scott. You know
that's
what I mean?
hella exciting.
And I know this is probably gonna air like in a week or two. So we just dropped a song called The Gemini Effect, which is just me. It's on some bars, hip hop shit, and that's actually not produced by Scott. And I'll probably make the project too. So it's gonna be some joints like that in there. Okay. You know what I mean?
Well, it's really exciting to hear because Scott plays on those keys exactly how Middle Easterns do. He kind of like, I feel like he's like an honorary Middle Eastern, the way he like did all that like early 50 Cent and Game stuff.
The early shit, he was actually kind of known for bringing that Middle Eastern vibe.
I actually thought 50 and them were flipping Middle Eastern joints the way Timberland used to.
Right.
Timberland used to flip all his shit, like not all of it, you know, a lot of his. You know, with Scott. So anyway, that's a beautiful marriage of y'all.
100%. And when I brought him Yalla Habibi too, I was like, you know, this is the type of record it's gotta be. I gave him the vocals and I'm like, it's called Yalla Habibi. So it's on some, he's like, give me the flute. You know what I'm saying? Like he feels at home right there. You know what I'm saying? And he nailed that shit in 10 minutes. Like
100%,
easy.
Man.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Scott's a man.
Scott's a legend, bro. Like honestly, I work with a lot of people. I ain't work with the other GOAT producers, so I can't compare. But being in the room with him, like I never seen someone that talented. Like he throws away shit, loops like he's doing. Well, I might have my phone out. I'm like, yo, we might have to save this for next time, bro. He's like, no, it's not good enough. Like he keeps searching for like, you know what I mean? Like it's pretty incredible.
I mean, he's so good at the piano that Dre enlisted him.
Exactly.
Like there wouldn't be the sounds we heard on 2001.
It's all Scott.
Wouldn't be there without Scott.
Yeah, it's all Scott, and obviously Dre's like. Drums and you know what I mean?
But
and the air to be like that's it, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly, yeah. So RMean, have you announced like the name of the project?
I haven't, because I haven't fully decided yet.
Okay,
I'm going.
That's exciting though. Like it's real exciting to be in that phase.
Yeah, it's very exciting. And I've been sitting on it for a while, or some of the core songs. Like I said, the Nas thing happened right before the pandemic, and a month later I got Yalla Habibi with French done. So it's been like a couple years for those early songs.
Have you been waiting for the pandemic to end?
Yeah, because my plan was to go, that's 2020, but I want, you know, during the summer or whatever, and then obviously the world shut down. And, you know, like I said, I always been a spitter. I never had club bangers, bro. Like not bangers that can really compete. So for the first time in my life, I really had bangers, but then the clubs was closed.
I'm about to say, yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Fuck.
And I'm like, bro, this can't be real right now. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I just can't. You know, I've been working too hard to get here.
Yeah.
To let these songs go to waste and not be able to at least have a real chance. You know what I'm saying? Because of course digital is everything, but I feel like in person and going to clubs and like all of that is important too. You know.
Absolutely.
And performing and you know what I mean? Like. Yeah. So I had to wait a little bit, and then clearances take a little while too. With all these features and stuff, but this is definitely the year. You know what I mean?
No, definitely. It's funny you mentioned that because I 100% was gonna say like to me, you working with Scott, this is gonna be a different sound.
100%.
I was like compared to 7 Deadly Sins.
Yeah.
What was your record with Burner? Was it most?
It's called The Warning.
The Warning.
Yeah.
I can't imagine like what your project with Scott. It's gonna sound way different, right?
Yeah, it's definitely. It's just bigger, bro. Like Scott really gave me a sound. I feel like you know, Scott is a very melodic guy, but he also worked with all the MCs, right? He comes from the roots. So the first rapper he ever worked with was Black Thought. Then he worked with Dr. Dre and Eminem and Game and that whole camp. So he's worked with everybody, Fat Joe and Terror Squad and them. So, and then he worked with like Jack Harlow and fucking, you know, who are the girls that signed to Beyonce, like R&B, and then Beyonce, Chloe and Haley, and people like that. So he has this wide range, but he understands MCs is what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm saying? So he can make like records and still make them sound big, even if it's like a rap song. You know what I mean? So like the 7 Deadly Sins era and all that, like I was really like an underground, and honestly, that's what I was going for too. Like I was just like, I was embracing that whole underground rapper thing, but I kind of grew out of that. As an artist and as a person, I kind of evolved, and I realized like, as much as I love that raw hip hop shit, I love like the greats. You know what I mean? The greats, like they have records. You know what I mean? They have hits and they have you know what I mean? And I feel like Scott gave me that. You know?
That's a beautiful thing, because that to me was like one thing of which I felt like you mentioned it. You wanted to be more of a underground. You are an MC. Like,
for sure. That's what it, of course. That's the real RMean is always going to be that.
What made you want to say, like, you know what, I really want to try to do something that's going to get played on radio?
I feel like I always wanted it, but I just didn't have really the resources, you know what I mean? The beats that I was getting, the people I knew, like it was always kind of the people I was naturally attracting, I guess. It was those type of, you know what I mean? Like someone like Chino XL and Crooked Eye.
Yeah.
It was just like, because I would go on interviews like this, and they would always ask me to rap, and I kind of became that spitter guy, that cypher rapper, and that's not even in my mind who I was, you know what I mean? I was always making music for, a bigger picture, but I feel like, again, everything has to come together, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And the way your sound is everything.
Yeah.
And it took me some time to realize that, you know what I mean? It's not just the artist, it's like everything, and the team, and how it's presented to the world, and all that matters so much, you know what I mean? Your branding. So we kind of took a step back for a couple years and purposely didn't go on Sway to freestyle again, you know what I mean? Because I could have. Sway's been such a supporter. I'm like, I even told Sway one time, I'm like, I've done it enough. Like, I got to step back, then I come back when I have the records out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he fully agreed too. So, it was kind of a rebranding thing, getting the right production, the right mixing engineer, the right everything, you know what I mean?
And I think it's coming together. We've only heard one record so far.
Yeah, I threw a few King here and there out. Yeah.
Is King James from that same
King
time?
James is from the same time and sessions, but to me, as much as I love that song, I never intended that to be on my album for whatever reason.
Okay.
Just because I have so much other shit that people don't know about. It's my highest streaming song so far, you know what I mean? It's doing great. First time working with Jeremiah.
Reposted it.
Rondo reposted it.
I love Rondo, and I hate the Lakers, so when that whole thing happened.
I dropped that because the Lakers was this was end of 2020, I believe, when it was in the bubble, right?
Yeah.
So this is like the end of the year. The whole season shifted. Lakers was in the playoffs. We was doing really good. I'm like, now's the time. Let's just let this one go. You know what I mean? And then we ended up winning the championship, so it worked out.
Perfect timing.
And yeah, so many people reposted it from just artists that supported me. You know what I mean? From Offset, Quavo, Snoop, Rick Ross. Like, I could keep naming it. It was amazing. Like, everyone was posting it, especially the day we won the championship. I remember Quavo tagging LeBron and shit. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, good looks. You know what I mean? But yeah, it was just a moment, really.
It was perfect. It was perfect.
And it's a great song. But yeah, that's probably not gonna be on the project.
No, but I think everything about your career comes down to Jay-Z always said, like, I'm real lucky, but I worked hard to be lucky. Like, you gotta be ready for when that luck comes around. And I think you've given this industry a lot, and you work your ass off. And I feel like this project coming is gonna be, we say in music, like your magnum opus. You're like,
that's how I feel too,
You're Stillmatic, or you're like, I don't know, your blueprint, whatever,
Yes, sir.
So I'm hyped, man.
We manifesting that today.
Absolutely, bro. You already got Nas on that. I can't wait to hear you and Nas.
Yeah, it's gonna be special. I promise you. I promise the listeners won't be disappointed. You know how you're disappointed sometimes when you see featuring your favorite artist, whatever, your favorite artist with your favorite artist, and you think this is about to be insane, and it's kind of just cool. That ain't the case on this one. I'm so confident, like, that ain't the case.
Here's why I know. You caught Nas right when he got into the King's
Bro, I caught Nas right before. Yeah, exactly. We didn't even know King's Disease was being worked on. And the cool thing was, even after that, he's been embracing us, me and my team. You know what I'm saying? So King's Disease was dropping. I was invited to the release party, which was really at a house. I don't know whose house it was. It was maybe 30 people. You know what I mean? Like, very intimate is what I mean.
IE?
No, it was right here. No, it was right here in Beverly Hills. I think it was an Airbnb or something. But then it was King's Disease 2. Then it was, little birthdays and stuff, people in his team. Then they won the Grammy. They had a Grammy. Yeah. They had the Grammy, like a celebration dinner. Again, he's very intimate. You don't have like a million people around. So, and he's been inviting us out, and that's just been really amazing to be there and always be embraced. You know what I mean? Man. So it's been more than just here's a verse and never hear from him again type of thing. You know what I mean? So he's been really supportive. He's giving me crazy compliments. It's almost like, bro, I don't know what to say when he's telling me, yo, you nice, bro. You know what I mean? I'm just like, thank you. Like, you Nas, bro. Just like, I don't even know what to say, but thank you. It means a lot. You know what I mean? So it just kind of, what's it called? Verifies. That's not the word I'm looking for.
No, I think you're right.
But you know what I'm saying? Validates is the word I'm looking. It validates
in.
everything that I felt I knew already, but it still feels amazing. You know what I mean?
Man, RMean, you are a role model for people who want to get into hip hop but feel like they're not represented or they aren't gonna fit in the hip hop scene. And just this whole Nas story from point A to Z, like full fucking circle.
Word.
I'm real hyped to hear that record, hear what the project's gonna sound like.
Hell yeah.
You had me at Scott Storch, let alone, you know, having Nas. And
honestly, me too. I thought I'm working with Scott Storch. That was already amazing. Then all these other opportunities, you know, one door opens the other, and I'm like, oh shit, like this is getting ridiculous right now. You know what I mean? So there's a bunch of names we ain't even mentioned yet, and we'll, you know, maybe next time.
Yeah, maybe next time. I mean? All right, man. RMean, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, bro.
Yalla Habibi is out now.
Out right now.
Produced by Scott.
Yes, sir. All streaming platforms. Go run it up. It's an anthem. You know what I mean?
Yes, man. Everybody, this is one of the gems of hip hop, man.
Come on, baby.
No matter what happens in hip hop in the next 10 years, I can promise you RMean will be there.
Love.
Take it from my experience. When I came into this game at 2012, RMean was here. And you've only gotten bigger, and you're here. The names have gotten bigger. Everything.
It's been a fun decade.
Yes. Alrighty, everybody. As they say on the song, Yalla Habibi,
Yalla.
Wallahi.
Yes, sir. Peace.
Peace.